The rules and regulations can be viewed on the information monitors in the pods and dorms day rooms. The rules and regulations contained herein are intended to provide you with the standard of behavior at this facility and apply to all inmates. Following the rules will help ensure safety, sanitary living conditions, fair treatment, and protection of your constitutional rights. Failure to obey the rules is cause for disciplinary action. It is your responsibility to ask jail officers for assistance if you do not understand any rule. The rules and regulations contained in this handbook are hereby adopted by the administration of the Rankin County Sheriff's Office. Policy. The Rankin County Jail requires that all inmates in its custody conduct themselves in a lawful and orderly manner. Inmates who violate the rule of the jail will be subject to disciplinary actions. Purpose. The purpose of this policy is to establish the inmate disciplinary system, which sets forth rules regulating inmate conduct and establishes procedures for inmate disciplinary actions. The Rankin County Jail has established an inmate disciplinary procedure that will be unbiased in its ruling and prevent unjust practices. General procedures. As part of the booking process upon admission, all inmates will receive a copy of the inmate rules, listing all prohibited acts to read and sign. Each inmate will also participate in an inmate orientation that will cover the rules and regulations of the jail. Disciplinary action shall not be impulsive, retaliatory, or revengeful. Accurate reports of all disciplinary action shall be kept. All notation of violation appeals will be heard in a timely manner. If the inmate accepts the disciplinary sanctions, they will take effect immediately. If the inmate appeals the sanctions, then they are afforded a hearing before the sanctions can be imposed. This applies to violations that do not constitute immediate lockdown. Head count. Inmates will be told 15 minutes before head count to prepare for head count. Inmates are to stand at the door of their cell with their armband. Inmates who fail to stand for head count will be written up and served a notice of violation. Inmates that are in the wrong cells will also be written up at the time of head count. Commissary. All money orders must be payable to Keefe Commissary Network, P.O. Box 1779, Brandon, Mississippi 39042. Money orders must contain the inmate's name, their location, Rankin County Jail, and the inmate's RCJ number. Money orders that are missing any needed information will be mailed back to the sender. Recreational time. Yard time will be provided on weekdays excluding holidays and weather permitting. Each pod will have equal access to yard time. Missed time will and may be made up with time permitted. When inmates are called for yard time, they must go when called. Those that go on the yard must stay the whole time, unless directed otherwise by an officer. Outdoor yard rules. Inmates will wear full uniform, including slippers during yard call. No personal items are allowed in the yard. Littering on the yard is not allowed. Any inmate vandalizing the yard or county property will be subject to temporary or permanent disciplinary sanctions and/or criminal prosecution as provided by law. No confrontations, regardless of severity, will be tolerated. This includes physical or verbal disputes, and in the event of a confrontation, regardless of the severity, inmates will move immediately to a designated area and remain there until further advised by a detention officer. In the event of a medical emergency, all inmates will move to an area designated by a detention officer and remain there until further advised by an officer. Notification of an emergency should be made immediately to a detention officer. Transfer to and from the outside yard will be done in an orderly fashion. When an officer advises inmates that the yard call is over, all inmates will immediately line up to return to their pod. Inmate mail. All inmate mail entering the detention center will be inspected for contraband, including legal mail. Mail will be delivered Monday through Friday, beginning at 0500 hours. All inmate mail going out is to be left unsealed and will be picked up Monday through Friday at 2300 hours. Inmates that do not have writing material or stamps will be furnished by the jail, a limited supply per inmate. Inmates that receive stamps from the jail can only use 3 stamps on Monday. Inmates that have their own stamps can mail out as many stamped letters as they want. Mail received from inmates that are no longer in the facility will be sent back to the sender. Mail that contains exposed pictures will be sent back to the sender. Inmate packages. Inmate packages will be delivered on the first Wednesday of each month or the first 7 days they are here, Monday through Friday, 0800 hours until 1800 hours, Sunday from 0800 hours until 1200 hours. Inmates' packages will be searched for contraband. Inmates are allowed to have 5 white t-shirts, no pockets, 5 white pairs of socks, 5 white pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of white thermal underwear, 3 white bras, 1 pack of loose leaf paper, and a box of metered envelopes. Packages can be mailed, but must be at the jail by the first week of the month.